football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so some interesting news coming out of the Golden Boy stable in the lightweight division. You know, we all know William Zepeda has been making a lot of noise in boxing with his volume punching and just how amazing that's been, you know. We've seen it in his fights with Jojo Diaz and most recently when he beat the brakes off of Jaime Arboleda. But it appears that we're getting closer and we're inching closer towards Zepeda's next opponent, as BoxingScene.com recently reported that Zepeda's next opponent will come in the form of fellow Southpaw and Filipino fighter Mercito Gesta, and the date they're talking about is September the 9th on DAZN in a location that hasn't been determined yet. Now, as far as that fight, I'll be honest with you, I think Gesta is a good fighter. He's a solid fighter. He's coming off of a win against Jojo Diaz, which is a career best win. But let's be real, like Gesta isn't exactly what we want for Zepeda. At least I would say for me, for Zepeda, because Zepeda broke the record for like the most punches thrown in a lightweight championship fight for the WBC, I think. Something like that. He broke some crazy record. He's shown unprecedented volume in the sport of boxing. So for me personally, I would have liked to see Zepeda in there with somebody much more credible in the top 15. Now, when you look at the top 15, I would like to see him in there with like a Jermaine Ortiz or like, you know, maybe a Ichiro Yoshino type of opponent. I feel like those would have been good fights for Zepeda, because those are the kind of fighters I think could test the volume of a guy like Zepeda. Gesta's a good fighter. I just think Gesta's going to be in there and he's going to exchange, and his defense is leaky, and I just feel like Zepeda's going to overwhelm him very much in a kind of a similar fashion that he did to Jaime Arboleda. But I guess it's good that it's a stay busy fight and it's a chance for Zepeda to continue to build some momentum. But in the fourth quarter of this year, I need to see Zepeda in there with a better opponent. You know, in a perfect world, obviously, when there wasn't no politics in boxing, we would see Zepeda in there with Isaac Cruz. I think Isaac Cruz and Zepeda will be an amazing fight, being that they're both Mexican. They both volume punchers. I think that their styles would mesh beautifully. But obviously, Sean Gibbons and PBC, they got their own plans. I feel like Sean Gibbons is going to... They're fighting Giovanni Cabrera on the Crawford-Spence undercard. If Isaac Cruz does what he's supposed to do and stops Cabrera, then I think they'll be angling towards a Gervonta Davis rematch, as that would make a lot of money for all parties involved on that side. But I feel like Zepeda is the wild card of this division. We know Devin Haney right now is in sole possession of the WBC title. Haney's talking about going up to 140 to fight Teofimo Lopez. So if Devin Haney does follow through and go up to 140 to fight Teofimo, or just goes up to 140 in general, because we all know he had a hard time making the weight, then we could potentially see maybe Zepeda fight for the vacant belt. And when you look at the contenders in the division, the guys just above Zepeda, you got Lomachenko ranked at number 1. You got Shakur Stevenson, who Zepeda already turned on a fight with, at number 2. And then you got the aforementioned Isaac Cruz at number 3. So, who would be the most realistic fight that could happen for Zepeda out the 3? I genuinely feel like Cruz is not realistic, just because I think the path for Cruz is already kind of set in stone. Sean Gibbons, PBC, they know what they want to do with Isaac Cruz. They're going to fight Giovanni Cabrera. They're going to try to get this knockout on the Crawford-Spence undercard and then push for the Gervonta Davis rematch next. So he's out the picture. Shakur Stevenson, I could see Zepeda and Shakur happening, just because it's a fight Shakur has been pressing for a long time. They have history, but I don't know if Golden Boy wants to put Shakur in there with a guy like Zepeda. I should say they don't want to put Zepeda in there with a guy like Shakur, because Shakur would go in as a favorite and he probably beats Zepeda. But we don't know that they have to fight the fight. So I think Lomachenko versus Zepeda would be the fight to make, because Lomachenko's coming off of a fight against Haney in which a lot of people thought he won. Lomachenko is, you know, a guy that's still a great fighter in his own right, but he's at an advanced age, and you know, I feel like him and Zepeda would be an amazing fight. You'd have the volume of Zepeda against the footwork and the dexterity and the athleticism and just all the angles that Lomachenko brings to the ring. I feel like it would be a match made in heaven, that fight. So, you know, if Zepeda does what he's supposed to do against Mercito Gesta in September, that's the fight I'm kind of looking at. But I'll obviously be happy if he fought Shakur. Shakur Stevenson needs a fight, a good fight. I think Zepeda has established himself with a great reputation as one of boxing's premier volume punchers. And it would be, I think, for Shakur Stevenson, you know, Yoshino was a good introductory fight to 135. If he can get the Zepeda fight, then that would be, I think, a signature fight of sorts for him at 135 because Zepeda is undefeated. I believe he's like 28-0. So we'll see what happens. But that's the news. Zepeda versus Mercito Gesta. Gesta's a guy that I think beat an aging Jojo Diaz, but Jojo's seen better days. And I don't think I think Gesta, I don't look at Gesta as an elite guy or even a top 15 135 pounder. So it's kind of just like business as usual for Golden Boy with their guys like Zepeda and Munguia. It's a guy with a bit of a name in boxing, but it's not really a guy that you could classify as elite. And it's a guy that right now at this juncture in time, when you look at the lightweight rankings, Mercito Gesta is not ranked in any governing body. You know what I'm saying? So you got that as well. Also, last thing I'll throw out there, it won't happen, but in an ideal world, you know, I would hear Golden Boy start talking about, you know, William Zepeda versus Floyd Schofield. They're both from the Golden Boy stable. They're both undefeated. That seems like it'd be an easy fight to make, but I don't think Eric Gomez and Oscar, they want to sacrifice, you know, Floyd or William Zepeda against each other, as crazy as that sounds, because unlike the other promotional companies like PBC or a Top Rank, they don't have as many like premier prospects to go around. So they got to be a little bit extra careful with how they move their fighters, you know? So that's my take on the matter when it comes to all things William Zepeda, but that's the news. Mercito Gesta, September the 9th is the date they're talking about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dingus. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We're here at the Hatanaka Boxing Gym in Nagoya, Japan. And for more great videos just like this one, make sure you guys click right here.